Hi, it's Steve Riley. Welcome to this episode of Great Life, Great Practice. And today I have a special guest, incredible thinker, an incredible innovator, and someone that everyone can learn something fabulous from. He is the Honorable Carlos Martinez, the Chief Public Defender for Miami-Dade. Carlos, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, it's great to have you here. And we were having this terrific conversation before the podcast even started, and then I realized I wasn't recording it. So I just want to say thanks. Thanks for being here. You are a leader and an innovator, and I wanted to bring you on the podcast to talk about some of your thinking and some of your leadership lessons. But before we go too far into it, I just want to ask some basic things so people can have a framework about who you are and what you do, and then we'll talk about how you got there just for a few minutes. Does that work
Sure.
for you?
That works.
Okay, so could you tell everybody exactly what your current job title is and what that entails?
Yeah, my current job title is public defender. I'm the elected public defender for the 11th Judicial Circuit of Florida, which is Miami-Dade County. My job entails managing a law firm of 230 lawyers with a $44 million budget and about 170 employees besides the lawyers. Every year, we manage approximately 65,000 to 70,000 cases of different clients in different areas. We do misdemeanors, felony representation, and also in juvenile court on delinquency cases, as well as the Baker Act, which is in Florida. That's what exists to make sure that people who are a threat to themselves or to others, they go through a process to see if they need to be hospitalized and for how long.
So would it be fair to say you're the public or private, I would say the private comparison to you would be really like a CEO. You're really
Yeah.
more like a CEO at this point in your career. So this is where I'd like to talk to you for a few minutes because I would imagine just in what you're saying that you are at a CEO level and you're in a very difficult spot because you are working with clients that you can't control. You're working with a tremendous amount of team, tremendous amount of direct reports. So I got a couple of questions.
Sure.
What do you think the three biggest challenges that you have currently for your role as the chief public defender? What's your what? Because you're really in a leadership role, a managerial role, an innovation role. What do you think the three biggest challenges that you currently have are?
So this one's kind of broad, but I think the biggest one is knowing that my priorities are not necessarily the priorities of the people that I need to get things accomplished.
Oh, say that
So,
again. That's good. Say that real slow, so
sure.
so I can get it. Let's do that because that was brilliant. Say it again.
So the biggest challenge that I have is knowing that my priorities are not necessarily the priorities of the people that I need to make the change happen.
That is brilliant. So say more. Talk to me more about that because I totally get it when you say it, but let's unpack it and talk
Yeah.
about it for a minute.
So in my office, let's say I come up with an idea. Let's throw in AI. So AI, I'm thinking about how can I amplify the resources that I have because I don't have enough money, for example, to hire paralegal. So what can I be doing to be able to have similar roles to paralegals based on what's available out? So when the conversation started about AI, I started figuring out, okay, there's a tech component to that. There's an organizational component to that, that even if I get the tech that is necessary for that, I'm going to need to have people buy in, the people that are going to use it. I'm going to need to have enough budget to be able to spend the money on that and not on staff. And then I'm going to have to show my funders, if they want to take a look, I'm going to have to show them why this is the most effective and efficient use of the limited funds that I have. So that is kind of a complex. I'm unwrapping kind of the complexity in there, in terms of trying to figure out how do I make that happen? Particularly when I talk about AI, most of the people that I spoke to in the first place, they were looking at me like, what do you mean by that? So then I had to get educated on what does AI really mean? Does it mean machine learning? Does it mean utilizing systems that have predictive analytics associated with it? How does that impact the work that we do?
How to stay motivated when other people around you aren't motivated? And how do you keep your energies up? How do you keep your passion up? How do you keep yourself charged for the next level of play? How do you do it?
So the key things that I do is I take time for myself. I take time to enjoy the things I want to enjoy, whether it's nature, walking, whether it's travel. I've been doing a lot more travel since last year. That's a regret that I have that I wish I'd done more travel earlier. I actually enjoy my drive into the office, even with the crazy traffic in Miami. How do I do that? I do not listen to news. I am listening to classical music on my way in or to travel podcasts. Even though my drive is 15 to 30 minutes, I'm doing that. I get centered into doing that. So people are beeping their horn or doing the normal crazy Miami driver things that they do. And for the most part, it doesn't affect me. So it lowers my blood pressure. I'm in a better mood. And then the other thing that I do to stay centered and motivated is to do the things that I want to do the things that really bring me pleasure. And in the last year or so, I've gone into fragrances, colognes and, different colognes, the cologne, the scent of the day. And those things put me in a great mood. I like how I smell. I come in and I'm in my space, and it's not what other people smell necessarily, but what I smell and what brings me joy. So when folks talk about work life balance, the work life balance to me is doing those kinds of things. And that keeps me motivated because it takes me away from looking at the negativity. Because every challenge that we have, there's a lot of negativity with every challenge that we have. And if you're just focusing on that, I get stuck. If I just focus on the negativity, if I just focus on, I want to punish X for doing Y. If I'm focusing on that, I get away from what brings me joy. What brings me joy is getting things accomplished, is feeling good about myself, about my life, about my family, and about the things that I'm getting accomplished and getting done. So a lot of it is staying in a gratitude mindset. And for me, the gratitude mindset is also identifying the things that bring me joy and doing those things.
Do you have a leadership principle or philosophy that guides your decision making? Because you're clearly a great leader, a great thinker. You have a tremendous impact on the world. We're not selling tires anymore, but we're really changing lives. And your skill set's extraordinary. So, is there a leadership principle or philosophy that guides your thinking?
There are a couple of things, and my religious upbringing has impacted how I look at things at different times. And one of those things, the golden rule, and also particularly the do unto others. That one has kept me grounded because that one forces me to be empathetic. Because a lot of times, if I'm addressing a situation like a manager, it is the easiest thing to do is to look at something as a calculus of what is the benefit to the organization, what's the detriment to the organization of what this behavior is or this behavior is not.